Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris Man, and as always, I had to let my cat out. As always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel. From time to time, I will post videos in response to comments because I think it's important for my viewers to get information that's accurate. By no means I claim to know everything. I'm not here to debate anybody. I could care less about you won the debate or I won, you wrote right and I'm wrong. I could care less about that. My purpose here is to basically give musicians the chords to songs. It's not to teach you to play these chords, to play these songs, because that's teaching you your instrument, and that's not what these videos are about. I do have DVDs that teach you how to play the rhythm guitar. You know, let's do it the right way instead of you sitting on YouTube trying to self-teach yourself watching dudes' fingers. That's not going to really, anything good is not going to come out of that, because what's going to happen, I can tell you this because it's going to happen, you're going to start to develop right out the gate bad habits, and it's going to hinder your ability to become a good guitar player, because the whole method of going to get formal lessons been working for centuries, not decades, centuries. You know, so like if it's working, it ain't broke, so let's do it. But again, the purpose of this video here is to discuss a comment that I got based on a video I did today. It was called Important Stuff. And again, it's really important to try my best, to the best of my abilities, to provide accurate information. And I stress again, I don't claim to know everything, because I don't. You know, but I'm going to read this comment and I'm going to break it up into two sections. And the first section that I'm going to discuss, I'm going to say this before I read this comment or part of the statement, because I already knew the answer to the question, but I said, let me check just to make sure, to be 110% sure before this comes out my mouth that it's true, as opposed to, Morris, man, you're wrong. You know, it ain't true. You know, so here we go. So I got a comment on that video. Important stuff. So the first statement, or the first line in this statement, says this: Glen Campbell, and in parentheses, fair guitar player. And I said to myself, fair guitar player? Glen Campbell ranks in the all-time top 150 guitar players, greatest guitar players of all time. So right out the gate, I'm like, okay, here we go. Because apparently this guy just speaking out of emotion, didn't do no research, don't know what he's talking about. Because I got a buddy who's a musician, and he said whenever he hears stuff like this, he just simply say this and then he walk away. How many gold records you got on your wall, buddy? Exactly. And it's like, so you're going to try to rate him as a fair guitar player when he's one of the greatest of all time? Where have you been? You know? So the rest of it says, Glen Campbell said over and over, the use of a capo that made, it was the use of the capo that made him so valuable as a studio musician. He used the capo on sessions with Jan and Dean, the Beach Boys, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, the Righteous Brothers, and on and on. He said when he came to LA, the session players knew how to read music and he didn't. And it was the use of the capo that made him so effective. And he lived on that ability for years. Nothing wrong with using the capo. Now, here's the problem with this statement. I did not say there was no use for capos. My statement earlier, and I've said it before, I'm a black dude. I have no use for a capo. The music that I play, that I grew up on, Confunction, Rick James, the Enchantment, the Shy Lights, the Bar Caves, there's no use for a capo for me to play these songs. So I have no use for it. Capo was mainly used, or still mainly used, for folk music, pop music, because I noticed all of the artists that he mentioned were pop and popular musicians or popular artists. There's no mention of R&B artists up in here, because what started this today was someone contacted me and said, or left a comment saying, I did a Motown song. They said, why don't you just use a capo on the first fret? Because that song does not warrant a capo. Motown players did not use capos, you know, because he said it would be easier. Yeah, I guess it would be, but my focus is trying to find the right voices. And a lot of people that are not musicians, seasoned musicians like myself and people on YouTube, they know nothing about voicing. They know nothing about stuff like that. Should I play this chord here? Because if I play it up here, it's going to clash with the guitar player or the piano player, or we both kind of in the same bright register. They know nothing about that. But yet They want to add their expert opinion on stuff they know nothing about. Again, I'm not here to debate anybody. I don't claim to know all the answers, but it's just ridiculous that you got people that don't know what they're talking about. They want to come to the discussion and make statements like this. Glen Campbell's a fair guitar player. Come on, man. Even good guitar players didn't make the 150 all-time greatest guitar players of all time. So how are you going to label this man fair? That statement alone kind of set me up, because I'm like, they're just people that don't know what they're talking about. But yet they want to come to the discussion and spill this. And it's like, do your research before you even do stuff like that. Because I remember it was a wake-up call when I first started on YouTube. I would make comments or statements, and sometimes I was assuming and I was wrong. And there's some people that live for this. They look for shit that's wrong and then call you out. I'm like, I got 99% right. I got 1% wrong, and your focus is on that 1%. There's some people like that. That's what they do. They thrive on that nonsense. But again, I just thought I would post this video out of respect for Glen Campbell, because I'm like, dude, on the flip side of Southern Nights, because I had the 45 when it came out in the 70s, there's the William Tell Overture, and Glen Campbell played that on guitar. What most musicians would have done, they would have cheated and sped that track up, because in order to play that, you got to play fast and accurate and clean. Glen Campbell didn't cheat. He played it in that speed, and it was amazing. So I'm like, how do you get fair out of amazing and awesome? But again, I'm going to sign off now. But again, I just thought I would, just comment on this, because I'm like, I don't want my viewers to believe this nonsense, because this is nonsense, One of the greatest guitar players that ever lived, the top 150 of all time. The capo thing, ain't nothing wrong with the capo. Ain't nothing wrong with the capo, but there's no place in it for R&B music. Now, I'm not saying that there's no artist out there that's an R&B artist that never ever used it. Johnny Guitar Watson used it from time to time, but Johnny played in a lot of weird key signatures, and he was the singer, so he was focusing on his singing. Are there black guys that use capo? Absolutely, because there's some black guys that play a lot of folk-oriented pop stuff, so they would use it. But as far as R&B, mainly that's what I do. I do play other styles of music just to show you guys that I can, because as a studio musician, people call me in to do all types of stuff. R&B, pop, country, sometimes country and western. Like, I can do the chords, but don't ask me to do the country picking, because that ain't my skill set. And they understand that, I do what is best that I do. I never try to step outside of my circle, because I know, what I'm capable of doing. I know what I can't pull off. And so I'm like, I'm going to leave that alone, because I'm treading on unfamiliar territory. But you got some people that have no clue as far as their skill set. And I'm going to play this at this function. And even though I've only been playing, because I had one person years ago, I'm going to be playing at a wedding, a Kim song, and Kim is like Luther Vandross and like Al Jarreau, because he sounds like Al Jarreau, and his stuff is that complex. Kim don't write 2-chord songs or 3-chord songs or 4-chord songs, but this person that had just picked up a guitar less than 4 months think that they're going to play a Kim tune that I struggle with as a professional musician at somebody's wedding. I'm like, man, don't ruin every wedding, because you're not going to be able to pull this off, Again, there's some people that don't know their limitations. And it's like, no, dude, I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, especially since you asked me how to play, so let me know. That lets me know that this ain't going to turn out too good for you. So don't let your friend's memory of his wedding be a bad one, because some dude stepped up there with a guitar and couldn't deliver, And I say this out of love. I'm not trying to trash anybody or be negative, but sometimes there's some people that just don't understand what they're not capable of doing. And it's like, I don't think that's a good idea, man. I mean, I just don't. As opposed to if you work hard, I think you can pull it off. Like, no, you better leave that alone for now. Check back in another couple of years when you're trying to step to artists like that. Luther Vandross stuff is extremely hard, because I had bought a songbook, a Luther Vandross songbook, and the way that it was set up, it gave you all the chords up top, and then, of course, the chords throughout the melody and the words. And I forgot the name of the song, but it had 13 chords in it, one song. In the music of today, you could take 13 chords and make 20 songs, because most of the music of the day is 2 to 3 chord songs, so you're not going to be able to get through that not being a seasoned musician or even a pretty good study out the gate. But again, you got some people that don't have a clue that they're not ready for this. It's like learn your instrument first, learn the fretboard, then tackle songs. It's still you don't know what chords you got up on your hand at any given time and where you got this from. You're looking at some dude fingers on the internet and you just trying to remember finger placements even though you don't know what chord it is. Come on now, come on. I'm just giving you the real. How I learned. I took formal lessons. It's been working for centuries, not decades, but centuries. It works, I don't know for one reason or another that you don't want to just pay somebody because, never ask another grown man for something you're not willing to pay for. Pay for lessons, become a good musician, and live happy. Be happy as opposed to I ain't paying for nothing. I'm going to learn this by myself. You're going to start racking up bad habits. You got your thumb up on the fretboard. And would Jimmy play like that? You're not Jimmy. And the reason why Jimmy played like that, Jimmy is like Wes Montgomery and Prince. They were self-taught musicians. They created their own structure of music and style. And you can hear it in their playing, and it works for them. But most of us are not a Jimmy. Most of us are not a Prince. And most of us are not Wes Montgomery. Most of us are not Ernie Isley. I had a guy ask me, said, could you teach me these 2 Ernie Isley solos? And this Isley Brothers song, I said, man, if it was that easy, we all be playing like Ernie. These are special guys, special guys. And there's some people that think that they can mirror them. I'm like, okay, well, good luck with that. But until next time, take care. And again, I just want to I had to respond to this. I had to, show some respect to Mr. Campbell because Glen Campbell was a hell of a guitar player. He was amazing. So I don't know where this fair guitar playing nonsense came from. I really don't. But as just a musician, I got offended by that on his behalf, on Mr. Campbell's behalf, because I'm like, man, come on. One of the greatest guitar players that ever lived, and you're going to try to put him in that category. That lets me know that you have no idea of musicianship and you're not a musician. You're just somebody who has an opinion that ain't even close to being accurate. Till next time, take care and thanks for watching.